What do you think the perfect ratio is of consuming versus creating? I don't believe that there is a scientific answer to this, but I can tell you that it does not look like that. For the past, I don't know, 9 months or so, I have been digging myself into a hole of overconsumption, and it has become a problem. Maybe you've been there before, maybe you're there now. If that's you right now, let's me and you get our shit together, right here, right now. All right, here are the ways that we are going to do this. Number one, we are going to identify what overconsumption looks and feels like. Number two, we need to shift our identity into someone who gets shit done and doesn't get distracted. Number three, subtraction. We need to take away some things. Number four, Subtraction Plus. First I said Subtraction Pro, but I couldn't miss the math pun. Subtraction Plus. And then finally, we are going to add things back into our life that give us more fulfillment. Let's dive into it. What does overconsumption look and feel like? Well, for me, it looks like this. Grabbing my phone anytime there's a difficult task in front of me. Is there an email that I don't know how to respond to? A client that asks for something difficult? An After Effects issue that I'm having trouble getting through, I'm stumped on? Anytime I get head on with something that's hard, I tend to grab my phone, open a new tab and open Twitter, LinkedIn, email, something like that. I'm checking Instagram, I'm scrolling through, and I can just, make it feel like this is important because I need to stay connected with my network. I should just check my notifications real quick, see if there's any DMs. Most of that stuff is BS and it's not worth my time. It's just a distraction because I'm unable to stay focused on the task at hand. That is what overconsumption looks and feels like to me. Like if there was a camera in my room videotaping me all day long, how often am I actually looking at my phone, grabbing it, or checking Twitter? What it feels like is creative block. What it feels like is this inability to move forward through difficult tasks. It feels like not getting my shit done. It feels like looking back at the last 3, 6, 9 months and going, what did I make? What did I do? Did I do anything that I wanted to do, that I set out to do? That's what overconsumption looks and feels like to me, and maybe that resonates with you. So now that we've identified what that looks and feels like, how do we stop overconsuming? Let's start with identity. Think of the things that you really want to identify with at the core. For instance, I wrote down, I'm a person who is not easily distracted. I'm a person who is more proactive, less reactive. I'm a person who lives a deep, meaningful life. I'm a person who takes joy in giving myself space to create things. What are the things that you identify with deep down that are not compatible with overconsumption? Tap into those things. It'll give you a little bit more motivation to move through the next steps. The next step is called subtraction because we need to take away things that we are overconsuming. This could be as simple as closing tabs. Maybe you're someone who has 52 tabs open and you tend to just kind of scroll through your tabs. Maybe you need to put a blocker on Twitter and Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever it is. But I think it really starts with that decision. I'm making a decision and commitment to reduce my consumption. So step one of subtraction is making a commitment that you are going to consume less. Something else that's been helpful for me is to put little rules on things. So I need to watch YouTube because I'm, working in After Effects. I need to look things up and I need to be able to find a tutorial on how to do something. But if you're anything like me, you might have a tutorial problem. And that is the enjoyment of watching how something is made, but then you don't actually implement anything. And so you're watching it for entertainment value more than for instruction. And, maybe in the future I'll use it. So the little rule that I put on myself, which has been really helpful, is stop watching how-to videos until you actually need it. Maybe save it away for another time, hit the, watch later list or put it into a playlist for yourself, but don't consume content that is not helping you with the current tasks and projects that you have on your plate. If you're anything like me, and I think you might be because you're watching a video about how to stop overconsuming, let's take things a step further and build a small system that can help you stop overconsuming in a serious way. Here are the steps that I've taken that have been really helpful so far. Number one, remove all social media off your phone. I've already done this on my phone and it feels amazing. Number two, log out of social media on your browser. Number three, for those of you who have a second computer, a backup computer, and if you're a freelance motion designer like me, you should probably have a backup computer in case yours shits the bed in the middle of a project. So my secondary backup computer, that's the one that's logged into social media. It's also connected to my Notion and Dropbox. So when I have content that I want to post on social media, I can go to that computer, give myself the space and time to post the work, and then give myself 10 to 20 minutes of engagement. And then here's the real trick is shutting the computer down, not just closing the lid, not just like making it go to sleep. Shut down, full shutdown, put the computer away. So that, because the problem with overconsumption is that it's so accessible, it's so easy to get to. So if it's not on your phone and it's not easily on your computer, your main computer, if you know that the only place that you do social media is on your secondary computer that is shut down most of the time, you're not going to, it's kind of like this video that I have seen in the past because I'm not consuming as much Instagram anymore, but the joke video where someone, like, every time I walk by a plant store and it's like somebody trips them and they fall, and as they're falling, their credit card swipes over the card reader, and the plant people hand you 2 cacti and a really pretty flower, and you're walking away and they wave. If you've seen one of those videos, you get what I'm talking about. If not, don't worry about it, because it's mindless bullshit content that's like, yes, it's funny, but it's candy. It's candy. It's not nutrition. A little candy is nice, but candy all day is going to make you sick. That's what we're talking about here with overconsumption. All right, rant over. That's my system, and I love it so far. It's been about a week, and my mind feels so much freer. I am allowing myself to get bored, and it's great. Now, I'm going to talk about boredom in the next section. Let's get there. Here's where we get to the fun part. We get to add stuff back into our life that brings us joy, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of accomplishment. These are wonderful things that we do not get to feel when we're over-consuming. Over-consuming, like I mentioned earlier, feels like eating candy all day, and you feel like shit. It's fun, you want it, but then it's terrible. So what can we add back into our life? We can add creating things. Like this video, I literally have the time, space, and energy to create a video to put on YouTube because I've stopped consuming so much YouTube. There's art. What kind of art do you like to do? Do you like to draw? Do you like to paint? Do you like to create animations of your own for fun? Illustrations, photography. There's all sorts of great stuff that you could be creating rather than watching, let's just keep calling it the candy of Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it is. Overconsumption often includes the shorts, the reels, the stuff that destroys your attention span. I've been doing photography. I've been taking pictures with a funny app that makes it look old. It's just for me because I'm enjoying taking photographs again. But creating art again has been really joyful for me. You could write stories. Have you had ideas in your head that you're like, oh, that would be really funny? This is a really great idea. Write them. It doesn't have to go anywhere per se. You could just write it in your journal, write it in a note. Do something for you, something that's fun and joyful and creative. You could plan a cocktail party for friends in real life. If you can create really lovely experiences in person, there's literally nothing that beats that. This is why people travel all across the world to go to conferences, because being in person with people is far superior than being together on the internet. So those are some things that you could do that are fun, creative. Something else that you can add back into your life is consuming intentionally. Watch good movies, watch good TV, read articles rather than getting your news from Twitter. Listen to music on a drive rather than a podcast. And finally, I want to talk about boredom. So boredom is something that you will feel way more often when you remove all of the things that you overconsume. But boredom is not a bad thing. Boredom is really good at prompting you to do something interesting or productive. Those kind of things that make you feel good after you do them rather than the overconsuming of the candy stuff. Also, it gives you a chance to just let your mind wander. Cal Newport talks about solitude being the time in which you are with your own thoughts. You could be by yourself but watching a video, so you're not actually in solitude. But solitude is really good for our brains to process the things that we have consumed. And so being bored is, yeah, again, great for prompting us to do more interesting things. And that is not overconsumption. That is not an interesting thing. Or to just sit with our own thoughts to process the things that we have consumed. Now we have identified what overconsuming looks and feels like. We have shifted our identity back to the things that are core to us, things that we really want out of life. We have subtracted some of these things that have been caused us to overconsume or make it too easy to overconsume. We have implemented Subtraction Plus, a system that helps us reduce that ability to get into the overconsumption apps and websites so easily, increased friction and resistance in that area. And we have added things back into our life that are fulfilling, that are satisfying, that give us a sense of achievement and joy. So this video was actually prompted because I have had a problem with overconsuming for 6 to 9 months. I'm not sure. It's felt like forever. And I finally snapped and needed to do something about it. That's why I'm making this video. I'm going to be creating more videos like this, talking about my journey towards becoming a better freelancer. And yeah, I'm excited to be making that. And I hope this serves as inspiration for you to take steps towards curbing your bad habits of overconsuming. The last thing I want to say is there's no perfect balance for consumption versus creation. It's a balancing act. It's kind of like most things in life. You want to have some consumption, some creation, maybe more creation, some consumption, but you'll have different seasons. Sometimes it's just time to consume great content. Others, it's time to put that away and make the things that you want to make. I hope this is inspiration for you to take action and remove some of that overconsumption in your life, to give yourself the space and time and energy to do more fulfilling things. Really excited for myself, and I'm excited for you. I'm curious, what helps you get out of your overconsumption rut? Leave a comment. I would love to see it. Thanks for watching. Catch you later.